You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday, 28th day of October, 2019. Hey, thanks so much for joining us, whoever you are, wherever you are. We're glad to have you right here, right now. Let me put up a chart, S&P 500, Emini Futures. Here we go. All right, if you can't see the chart, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, all of the instructions. You'll be registered in about 30 seconds, and that'll give you one-click access to the show each and every day. On the days you're out of the office, away from the desktop, and you still want to join the show, not to worry. Grab any internet-connected browser, a phone, a tablet. If it's got internet, you got the show. Just point it to youtube.com/CFRN/live. There you will find a live real-time simulcast of the show as it unfolds, brought to you by the good folks at YouTube. Thanks, you two. Okie doke. We had a gap and sideways roll last night on the Globex Open. And then off we went. Now, one of our favorite setups is the Sunday night gap open on the indices. Index futures almost always close in the same session, quite often in the first couple of hours of trade. Sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. I'm not saying it won't, I'm just saying it hasn't yet. Okay. Now there's a lot going on, a lot to talk about. Let me bring up this daily chart real quick, give you a peek at that. Here's a weekly. Yeah, let's look at the weekly for a second. What do you think? I think. Okay. Now, the week of July 26th, all-time historic high. Now, this is the continuous contract. I'll show you the difference in the price. So can you see price right now, 30.37.5? Okay, I'm gonna put it on the December contract. So we're at 30. I blocked it. Oh well. There we go. All right. 30.37 on the December. Okay, so we're only one tick off, all right, between the continuous and the December contract. You can't trade the continuous. It's good for charting purposes because you can bring in a lot more data than when you're looking at just the front month, and currently the front month is December. Okay, so we had this all-time historic high on the week of July 26th. So we're looking at a weekly chart right now, and that high was 30.29.5. We have a swing high today of 30.42.75. We've talked about this over and over, again and again, but the S&P 500 has a habit of, when we put in a new all-time historic high, kind of wants to do this. And then we put in another historic high, and it wants to do this. And then we put in another high, all-time historic high right there, and it does this. Another new all-time historic high, and it does this. And now we have another new all-time historic high. So will history repeat itself? Will this look like this, 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 or this in the days and weeks to come? Well, you know, they say you can't you can't predict future results on past performance. Oh, wait, but you don't have much else. So I'm not predicting anything. I'm not forecasting anything. I'm simply pointing out that from a historical perspective, this is what the S&P 500 tends to do at a new all-time historic high. Just remember that route we had in 2008, that came after a brand new all-time historic high. Up around 1550, we fell to 666. So not a prophecy, not a prediction, not a forecast, historical fact. Now, John believes, and we've talked about this on the show a number of times, he thinks this time's different. He believes we'll keep chugging along. And I'm okay with that. In fact, all of our traders are okay with that. Because if the market's going higher, we're going to be long. If the market's trending lower, well, we're going to be short. So as long as it's moving, we're happy. We're pretty easy to please. Okay, just give us some movement, and we'll do our best with it. Thank you very much. Okay, a lot to cover, lots to talk about. I don't know what Michael's schedule is today, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the numbers from around the world. Oh, I'm going to give you a little bit of news first, really quick. This will just take a second. All right. One analyst said that the Bitcoin price chart now looks ridiculous after record gains. Really? Data from Coin360 showed volatility remained elevated for Bitcoin this morning, with swings between 9,100 and 9,900, characterizing basically what's happened the past 24 hours. On Friday, news that China was officially embracing blockchain technology appeared to reawaken enthusiasm across cryptocurrency markets. After trailing at 7,400 for several days, Bitcoin against the US dollar suddenly exploded, hitting local highs of nearly 10,500 early Saturday morning. Those levels have since consolidated, and at the time these figures were gathered, the price was right at 9,400. Why don't we do this while we're talking about it? Let's have a peek. Let's take a look. BTC USD. Okay. 93.55. Let's put this on a daily for a minute. Yep. This is daily. So over the last, counting today, one session, 2, 3. The last 4 sessions, we've gone from 7,500 to 10,500. It's a $3,000 gain in, looks like 48 hours. So perhaps the crypto, I was really hoping we would hold 10 on the pullback. We didn't, but that's okay. I think this crypto winter may be fading. Okay. Now, let me finish this. China fueled the mood once more as the week began. China is ready to embrace cryptocurrency. I'm going to finish this article up when I come back, because it gets a little lengthy. But just a thumbnail sketch. It was Friday that China announced that they were going to officially embrace blockchain technology. That's the little bit of news there I want you to hang on to. China, Hong Kong, all the turmoil, geopolitical tension, jackboot thumping on distant grinders, all of that, fertile soil for Bitcoin. Okay, let me give you these numbers from around the world. I have them right here. Pulling some fresh data. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you had a chance to spend some quality time with the family. I saw you in church yesterday, tipped my hat. Okay, the Dow currently up 99 points. NASDAQ up 81. S&P 500 up 17. And the Russell 2000 up 13. Movers and shakers, the NASDAQ, that's a gain of almost 1% on the day. Russell 2000, also a gain of almost 1% on the day. In the commodity basket, crude oil is down 61 cents, trading 56.05 last. That's a drop of a little over 1%. Gold down $11.10, trading 14.9420 last. In the Asian markets at the close, Nikkei posted a gain, 67 points. Shanghai posted a gain of 25. And the Hang Seng added 223. And for the Hang Seng, that's almost 1%. In the European markets, FTSE posted a gain of 17 points on the session. DAX added 54. And the CAC added 16. That gives us green day in Asia, green day in the UK, and so far it's a big green Radio Monday here in the US of A. Let's go to Michael, get a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning. When I come back, we'll cover the Concierge Trade Alerts. We'll look at the Logic 247 alerts. We'll talk to John. And of course, we'll have answers to all of your questions. So stick around. I'll be back.
Okay, I got it. Let me bring up you. There you are. Okay, you should be.
Got it. It's all yours.
Okay, all right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 28th day of October, 2019. 28th day. Can you believe that? Anyway, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial with us, go to the homepage at CFRN.net. Over here in the right-hand column, it says 5-day free trial apply.cfrn.net. If you click on that, or any one of these other things, like that, or that, or wait for it. There it is, that. You'll be brought to this page. You can go directly to this page, eminitradingschool.com. It's going to be https eminitradingschool.com. You can go directly to this page, and on this page, all we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Hit the register now button, and you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay? We don't know you took the free trial until you click the confirmation link. All right. Today, well, we had a yellow day today. I mean, I know the market was up, but it was mostly all the pre-market where it was moving around like that, and I'll get into that in just a minute. But today we had a yellow day. That means we ended positive, but we did not get our goal for the day. We had 1 tick in crude, 2 ticks in gold, and 1 tick on the ES. That's 42.50 on the morning session, sadly. And we took 7 trades this morning. All right, we had 3 break-even trades and 4 trades for 1 tick. So on the month now, we're up $2,445. That's over 19 days, averaging $128 per day. On the year now, we're at $30,876. That's over 194 days, averaging $159 per day. Keep in mind, that is 1 contract, 2 hours per day. And I'm doing a lot of other stuff while I'm doing the training in the morning. So I miss stuff. But today, I don't think I missed too much. We started out here. We picked up 1 tick on this move down here on gold. All right, there was a shorting opportunity right in here. And then it just took off on us. And then the slingshot stopped us from taking trades. There was a long trade right here that I did miss. Break-even trade here, another trade for a tick right here. Then we get into the break, and during the break, let's see. Yeah, there was a shorting opportunity there and there. And that was it. There were two more trades during the break on gold. On the euro, let's see. On the euro, we didn't do anything. There was nothing on the euro. Nothing during the break either. No, the euro was a dog today. Okay, crude, which is my favorite market. We had a break even there and a +1 tick right there. Then the cycle was going up too steep to short right in here. Otherwise we would have. Same thing right there and right there. Now, if you're doing the Tuesday trades or, the other trades, there was an opportunity to short right here. 164 short right there. Yeah, there was a inverted 137 there. And there. And if you were doing the other trade setups, and if you don't know about the other trade setups, ask me, and I will direct you to a place where you can learn about that. During the break, there was really nothing. Put in a new low right here. Just broke this dynamic support. Looks like it's setting up a short trade right now. But up until now, there was really nothing. Okay. And the ES had all this pre-market action. And then it just went sideways. We had a break-even trade there and a +1 tick right there. And during the break, it just went sideways. Okay. It was, I don't know if Dwayne mentioned it, but there's a gap here that needs to be filled from right here down to right here. It's like a 5-point gap, something like that. And it will get filled. I don't know when, but it will get filled. We're coming off all-time highs right here, and it's got to get down, well, 20, 30 points, I think, from this high. It would have to go down about 30 points to fill that gap. And it will get filled. It's just a matter of time. Okay. With that, let's go back over here. Hold on. Go back here to my spreadsheet. Now I'm going to have to add a couple days on here. 29th, 30th, 31st. I got to add 1 day. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you could read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 28th day of October, 2019. Today we made 1 tick in crude, 2 ticks in gold, 1 tick on the ES, to put us at a total of 42.5 on the morning session. We took 7 trades this morning. On the month now, we're at $2,445 per contract. That's over 19 days, averaging 128 per contract. On the year, 30,876. That's over 194 days, averaging 159 per day per contract. Now that is 1 contract, 2 hours per day. Okay. Now we'll go back here. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page at CFRN.net. Go right here, the home page at CFRN.net. And it says apply.cfrn.net right under 5-day free trial. And there's 3 other places on the page you can click on. That will bring you to this page. And you can go directly to this page if you want to. It's eminitrainingschool.com. And here we simply ask for your name, your email, your phone number, and you hit register now. Once you hit register now, you will be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link, okay? Once you click that, then we'll send you all the information that you need to get into our live trading room for 5 luxurious days. All right. And with that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park, where Dwayne is currently residing. Well, he's not actually residing in the park, but he's in Studio A. Dwayne, if you are ready. Okay.
All right, I'm right here right now.
Oh, good. Okay, you are there. All right.
Okay, recap.
Today we didn't get the goal for the day. We had 7 trades, and we were positive, but it was a yellow day. We didn't actually get the goal.
That's the truth about trading.
It is.
It's only happened a couple of times in the last, couple months?
Yeah.
A month or something?
The last 3 months, I think, there have been 4 days where I didn't get the goal for the day. So
And that's the truth about trading.
Knock on wood.
Okay, let me grab the charts.
Okay. It's going over. There it is. I see your charts.
Alrighty.
New all-time
Okie doke.
highs.
All right, guys, we will start here with the concierge. We'll scroll through the logic first. Valerie just sent me the recap, so I'll share that with you. Okay. This is week 65. Week 64. Hang on. Show you week 64. Here we go. Week 64. Okay. We had a total of 40 alerts last week. I'm guessing 4 never triggered, 1 carryover. We had 35 actionable alerts. 3 of them were stopped out. So we finished the week 9% of actionable alerts stopped out. Now, that number's a little low based on the average. What we've averaged over the past little over a year is 20%. We've had weeks of 0%. We've had weeks of 10%. We had a week here. Was it 2 weeks ago? I think it was the poorest showing since yep, right there. 31%, week 63, 31% stopped out. Okay, and that's the truth about trading. So we are now in week 65. Started out last night. Here was a carryover. Good evening. Welcome to Globex. All right, the first thing out of the gate was a gap fill on the indices. So let's go for just a second here to this chart. Right there where circled earlier. Now, our gap fill trade was to consider being short the S&P 3022 to 3020 to fill the gap, and then we had a zone below at 3012/3013. The swing low right here was 3022.75. So our gap fill trade on the S&P has not triggered yet. Do I think it will trigger and fill the gap? I do. On index futures, gaps, we don't see gaps a lot because futures trade pretty much around the clock. Sometimes in earnings season, really the only time we see much of a gap is Sunday nights. We look forward to that because typically these gaps will fill in a couple hours. Yeah, usually before the day session starts, but every now and then you get this perfect storm. China and the U.S. announced progress on the trade deal. We took out Baghdadi over the weekend, and this morning Trump actually said, you know, you live for days like this. Trump said, I think it's going to be a good day in the markets. And, well, so far, so good. All right. So back to last night. There's the S&P. There's the same thing, gap fill on the Dow, gap fill on the NQ. And we had a long on crude, stopped out. There's gold. And gold, let me just show you this gold. Gold. Okay. All the zones you see on the charts are last week's zones. Of course, CFRN partners and passport holders, they got the fresh zones this morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. We've been publishing these zones since December 14th of 2009. We're coming up on our 10-year anniversary. My, how time flies. So last night, on that gold, Logic 247. Now the Logic 247, remember, these are the ones that are dynamic in the moment as opportunity develops. The Concierge, which we'll get to in a moment, that's based on prior price behavior. So one's based on prior, one's based on current, where they both point at the same price, same area. It almost always deserves a second look. So 1504. The Globex Open was right there. I'll go ahead and put a little arrow. So all week we'll know. That's the Globex Open right there. Okay. So Logic 247 said to consider being short, 1504. Okay. The trade to target 1499/1500, so 1500. So that's a 4-point move. That's a four. I'm gonna turn this off. Hang on. There we go. 14-point move. I'm sorry, a 4-point move, $100 a point, $400 per contract traded. When price approaches a weekly trading zone from above, we expect good support till it isn't. 3 things happen at a weekly trading zone. When price hits a weekly trading zone, the most likely thing is consolidation. Okay, that might not look like a lot of consolidation, but these are 30-minute candles. So if I drop down to a 5-minute chart, I'm not going to do it right now, but you can if you've got your charts open, and you'll see how much time we spent right here. You'll see a bunch of little candles right at this zone. Okay, now that's consolidation. The most likely thing to happen up here, that's rejection. See how price touched it and was rejected? That's the second most likely. The third and least likely, but it happens, is the slice, and when I come across a slice, I'll show it to you. Okay. Now, after this consolidation, price continued down to the zone below. So from 1504 to 1494, that's a 10-point move at $100 per point. That's $1,000 per contract traded. Now, is there an exit signal? Because this is an extended move. So let's find out. There we go. Now, what is an exit signal? Okay. When this little black step line on a short trade, when the little black step line crosses over that red and falling CFMA1, and that happened right here. It's just now happening. This candle, the current candle we're on, there's 24 minutes left in the life of this candle. If it closes above the step line, the closing price of this candle, if it's green above the step line, that is the exit price. Okay, so entry 1504, target 1500. However, because you're in an extended move, you can make a choice. You can choose to exit at the target, or because it's an extended move, you can elect to stay in until the market prints an exit signal. Okay. We don't know where this candle will close. When you see it starting to potentially print an exit signal, would that be another opportunity to make a decision? Go ahead and take profit here. It's $1,000 per contract traded so far. The answer is absolutely yes. Okay. All right. Now let's, while we're on gold, let me just jump over to the WTZ. I mean to the Concierge. Okay. In fact, go ahead and get ready to grab your screenshot if you want to grab one. Okay, got them out at 6:45. That should say PM. That's when they came out last night, 6:45 PM, as you can see down here. Now, Telegram, the time that Telegram displays is based upon your time zone. Telegram reads your computer clock. So if you're Central, you're going to have Central time. If you're Eastern, Eastern. I'm in Phoenix 8 months out of the year. We don't do daylight savings, so we're on Pacific time. And I think we're going to finally change back here either next week or the week after.
Next week.
And that's
November 3rd.
Next week. Okay, yeah, and that's kind of a thing for me because right now markets open at 6:30 a.m. my time. But for 4 months, I get an extra hour if I want to sleep because the markets won't open until 7:30 my time. All right, here's gold right here. Consider being short at or below 1502. So you've got a logic alert at 1504. You got a concierge at 1502. 2. Sometimes the numbers will be identical. Sometimes they won't be, as they are here. They're always going to support each other directionally. So you can enter at 1504. You can wait for a break of 1504. You can split the difference. Here's the simple way to understand this. Price is below the BBC, green line, okay? BBC just stands, you got to call stuff something. You got to give it a name, got to put a label on it so you can reference it. BBC just means bull, bear, cross. When price crosses above, we anticipate higher prices. That's simple. Until when? Until price crosses below, and then we anticipate lower prices. Higher, lower, okay? So we're below the BBC. The CFMA1, that's the red and blue line. Blue is bullish, red is bearish. Again, got to call it something so you can refer to it. When that's red and falling, you want to be short. You don't have to be short, but please don't make the mistake of being long, because that just usually won't work out too well. Something you may or may not have noticed on this chart. Ahead, shoulder, and another shoulder. A little lopsided, but still the ticket. Now, we're not pattern recognition people per se, okay? But when something like this is there, yeah, kind of hard to ignore. But once you know what it looks like, okay? So if we put our neckline right there, a break of the neckline, now this is just basic technical analysis 101, on a head and shoulders pattern, a break of the neckline, and hopefully you see this in your mind's eye, head, shoulder, shoulder. This red line, if I extend it all the way across, that's your neckline. So a measured move is what technical analysis 101 teaches you to look for. And a measured move simply means the distance from the top of the head to the neckline. A measured move means you get a move that is equal to this move. And so you can measure it like this. Let's go to the top of the head. And you want to make sure to change it from array to finite. Okay. So from the top of the head, we're going to draw this line to the neckline. Okay. So now we know the distance from the top of the head to the neckline. So I'm going to grab that measuring stick, and if we get a measured move, that puts gold down about 1480, 85. Yeah, we'll call it 1485. We had a weekly zone last week at 89.90, and below that was there, yeah, and there's one at 75.76. Okay. We've completed a fair bit of that measured move. So however you dealt with this, enter at 1504, enter a break of the neckline. Now in our training, what you'll never hear us in the live training room. We might mention in passing a head and shoulders, kind of like I'm mentioning it here. But again, we're not pattern recognition people. We use our methodology, our indicators, and the framework created by the weekly trading zones to navigate between zones, because price is always trying to get to a weekly trading zone, either the one overhead or the one below. Now, we have another zone coming up here from last week at 89.90, but this green candle that we already talked about, we still got We're about 16 minutes left in the life of this candle. Remember, if it closes above the step line, the closing price of this candle will be the exit signal. If by some chance we don't close green above that step line, the next logical spot for the market to find support would be the zone below. Now, I'll say this much. This week's zone and last week's zone, they're not too far apart, okay? I think we're going to get an exit signal here, but that's just a thought. It's not a forecast or a prophecy. It just is, okay? All right. Now, let's go back to logic. And we'll do all the concierge, but I just want to point that gold out. Okay. All right, here we go. So that was the goal we're just looking at. And then next, long the S&P, 3028 to 3030. Weekly trading zone overhead, which is the trade to target. 3030 initial, 3053 trade to target. Okay, so let's look at that. $30.28. Right there. 30.30, obviously, right there. Important prices, important areas, almost always tested. So we get an initial trigger. Price pulls back. Almost seems like it found some kind of support there. We'll check. Let's see. Then we trigger again, and from 30.28 to 30.42, that's 14 points or $700 per contract traded. If you've earned the right to trade 10 contracts, and if you hang with us, you know, you got, if you're going to do it, you know, do it right, earn the right, keep yourself out of trouble, stop blowing up accounts. Just do it, okay? Earn the right. Number one, if you hang your hat with us, we want you to stay in sim until you put together 10 consecutive days in a row where you reach your goal in 10 trades or less. We have this thing called the 24/20 blueprint, designed to take you from 1 to 20 contracts over a period, 24 months, okay? Once you have those 10 consecutive days in a row, the blueprint will give you a green light to go live with one contract. That's it, just one. When you go live with one, we want you to increase your account balance by $2,000 before you even think about adding a second contract. Once you do that and you add your second contract, the dynamic changes. It's just an incredible thing, because what you've done, that first contract, you had to pay for that with your savings or a loan or however you came about it. Maybe you panhandle. I don't know. You got to come up with that money somewhere. But if you follow the blueprint, if you learn what we teach you, okay, moving forward, every contract that you add will be underwritten, not by savings, not by a loan, but by actual profits that you earned yourself with your trading ability and skill. You'll underwrite every additional contract, the profit you earned in the market. Now, if you're working our model, which is 2 points a day, everybody likes more points, but Michael and I believe that the way to solve this market equation, it can be done with more points, but sometimes, you know, not every day is not like today. Some days, you know, more points can be difficult, but I don't think I've ever seen a day since 2005 that the market didn't offer at least one, more like multiple opportunities to take 2 points out of the market. Now, I know if you go hang out in any of these, trading chat rooms or forums, people always talk about that 2 point a day, holy grail kind of a thing. It's a function of math, all right? Getting 2 points a day at $50 a point, $100. The S&P 500 E-mini Futures pays $50 per point. If you're trading that one contract and you get 2 points, $100. Unfortunately, in the forums and the chat rooms, that's usually where the conversation stops. And then some newbie goes, is anybody actually doing that? And there's silence. You hear the tumbleweeds blowing through. And that whistle from the good, the bad, and the ugly. Oh, I got that right here. Where is it? Oh, my phone's dead. Good. I'll leave it dead. Okay. 2 points a day, $100 per contract traded. When you add the second contract, you double your pay. Instead of $100 a day, you're now making $200 a day. That's $1,000 a week. Now, there was a time when making a gee whiz a week, oh, that was a gee whiz. But, the times, they are changing. Things are more expensive. You got more responsibility. You got more expenses. And so $200 a day may not cut it. But that's okay, because you're building a business. And you're building your business with internal growth, with profit you earned in the market. Once you get to 3 contracts, the math's pretty simple. 4, 5 contracts, that really makes a person sit back and do some serious thinking. Because, well, number one, if you follow the blueprint and you do things the way it's suggested, when you reach 5 contracts, that's quite an accomplishment. First, you earn the right to even go live. Then you earn the right to add a second, and you earn the right to add the third and the fourth. At number 5, instead of $100 a day, it's now $500 a day. $500 a day on a 5-day week, it's $2,500. That's 10 grand a month. It's $120,000 a year. That's not bad money. Most people, I think, pay their bills with that, but I mean, I don't know you, I don't know your debt load, but for most people, I think it's pretty safe to say the average household income in America, I think we looked at it the other day, that's with two full-time wage earners, it's about $70,000. So at 5 contracts, that's an income better than the average household income in America. If you continue to increase your size as when the blueprint green lights you from number 6 and number 7, by the time you hit 10, when you get to 10 contracts, now that's another huge milestone. Again, you've earned the right to trade 10 every step of the way. That $100 a day when you were trading 1 contract, that's now $1,000. 10 contracts, $50 per point. I'm sorry, 10 points at $50 per point. That's your 500. I miscalculated you there. If you go back to 5 contracts at $50 per point, it's $250 per contract traded. Okay, let's get the math straight. When you get to 10 times 50, there's your 500. There's your $2,500 a week. Now, remember the 24/20 blueprint is designed to take you from 1 to 20. You don't have to stop at 20, and you don't have to trade 20. If 9 makes you uncomfortable, or wherever your comfort level is, you're going to find that. Water seeks its own level, and you'll find your level where you're comfortable. And that's where some people want to be. They want to be comfortable. Other people are aggressive by nature, and they're ready to add that next contract as soon as the blueprint says it's time. But don't ever feel obligated to trade more than never trade more than you've earned the right to trade. But never just feel obligated. Well, the blueprint says I got to add another one. if you're not ready for it psychologically, then don't. There's no pressure, okay? This is your business. You're building it from the ground up. You're building it on a solid and firm foundation. You're using things to build your business that don't change. They're not going to break. They're not going to go out of style or out of fashion, because what we do mirrors the movement of the market. That's why earlier I said it doesn't matter to us if the S&P continues higher now that we've put in a new all-time historic high, or if it reverses and sells off. As long as it's moving. If it's trending higher, we're in. Trending lower, we'll take some of that too. Okay? Flexible. The beauty of futures. You trade around the clock. You can be long and short in the same session. No penalties for it, no hiccups, no special qualifications to go short. It's a beautiful thing. Okay? Now, at 20 contracts, at 20, and remember the blueprint will not get you there before 24 months. That's 2 years. It's a slow boat. But the boat can actually get there. That's the important thing. Remember, in all the forums and the chat rooms, everybody agrees 2 points a day is a wonderful way to earn a living. But then when somebody says, well, how do you do that? The conversation stops. Okay? All right. At 20 contracts, 2 points a day, I'll get my math right here in a minute. It's Monday. I backed you off of 5. I said that was 2. I told you it was 500, which is true. And then I backed it off to 250 because I wasn't using Alexa. Good morning, Alexa. Wow, it is Monday. Alexa, good morning.
Good morning, and happy National Chocolate Day. Here's a joke to celebrate. Where does chocolate milk come from? A dairy cacao. Moo.
Oh, thank you.
Anytime.
Okay.
Hope you have a good Monday.
Thanks, you too. All right. All right, let's do this one more time. At 5 contracts, at $50 a point, it's $250, but you're going for 2 points. So that's the 500 I originally mentioned. Okay. So when you get to 10, that's $500 per point, but you're trading for 2 points. It's $1,000. $1,000 a day. 10 contracts, 2 points a day, $1,000. Not a bad daily income. It's $5 grand a week, 20 grand a month. It's $250,000 a year. That puts you in the top 3% of wage earners worldwide. Find any other business besides scratching lottery tickets, baby, I don't know, where in the course of a year, if it takes 24 months to get to 20 contracts, a year or so to get to 10, and that's if everything goes perfectly. And in most people's lives, at least mine, things don't always go perfectly. So it takes as long as it takes. The earliest you would get there following the blueprint would be a year to reach the 10 contract level. Now, from $100 a day to $1,000 a day in the course of a year, that's unheard of. Go tell that to your banker or any financial whiz person, and they'll tell you that that's ridiculous. It's not possible. It can't be done. You've been taken advantage of. And you sit there like a deer in the headlights. You don't know who do I believe? You don't have to believe me. That's for sure. Because everything that I ever tell you, I want you to put it to the test. I want my market truth to become your market truth. That's why I teach it to you. But I don't expect you to, I don't want you to just believe it because I said it. Unless you put it to the test, unless you personally drag it out in the light of day, watch it, clock it, all of that stuff, it's never going to be your market truth. It's going to be some truth you heard some guy, say on the internet, and that's just not good enough. You deserve better than that. Make it your market truth. If it doesn't stand up and salute after a period of time, then come back to me and go, hey, you always say this, but I've been doing this, and what's up? I'll go over it with you. I'll work with you. It's so important. That part, when somebody asks you what you believe about markets, you probably can tell them. But when they say, well, why do you believe that? Well, that's a great question. Why do you believe? Well, because I was at a seminar in Vegas and this guy said it. Or I follow this guy on the internet and I'm in his trading room and he said it. So that's not what I want for you. I want you to experience it. I want you to own it. Nobody can ever take it away from you. This is a very important point in your life. You're either going to succeed as a trader or not. You're either going to find yourself in a position where you're able to do the things for yourself, for your family, and for God that you thought you could only ever dream of, or you're going to just continue whatever it is you've been doing, whatever your life's profession is. Not everybody is going to become a successful, profitable trader who trades for a living. I'm sorry to say that, but it's true. And I've always said that you may not like what I tell you, but I'll always tell you the truth as best I understand it. When my good friend, Mike Reed, when he told me that, I was crushed. I was beside myself. At first I thought he was being mean, and then I realized that he didn't have the ability to be mean. He was a good guy, one of the best. He was just trying to make me aware of the truth, because in 2006 I was struggling. I was frustrated, aggravated, and he kind of just, when he said, I wasn't expecting those words because he was always nice and kind and gentle and encouraging, and the day he said that, I was like, whoa, it was a real wake-up call for me. Okay, so what you're saying is, just because I show up every day and quote unquote work hard all day staring at these charts, that's no guarantee that I'm going to become a consistently profitable trader. Showing up is a big part of it, but it takes more than that. If you don't have a methodology, if you don't have a strategy, if you don't have a plan, if you don't understand how markets work, it's going to be very difficult to become a consistently profitable trader. You're always going to feel like there's something out there that you don't know, that you need to know, and the only way you can succeed is if you know that. But that thing, it's not some secret, it's not some magical indicator or mystical oscillator. It is understanding how markets work. When you understand how markets work, when you have a trade that goes south on you as soon as you enter it, it doesn't feel like a billy goat kicked you in the stomach. I know that feeling well. I would wake up every morning with that knot in my stomach. It's today the day I blow it all up. I've had 3 good days in a row, or 3 good weeks in a row. And it's today the day it all falls apart. I wake up with a knot in my stomach, sit down to trade. No sooner would I go long or short, market reverses, I'm underwater, and then I get stopped out, and the kick kick. You already got a knot, and now the billy goat kicks the knot, and it just, man, it's no good. But here's the deal. Once you understand how markets work, you get into a trade, it goes south. You aren't offended. You don't think there's a conspiracy. The world's not at, you don't think any of it. None of that stinking thinking even crosses your mind, because you understand exactly what happened. You got into a long trade because order flow supported a long trade. And then order flow changed, and the market moved lower. All right, guys, we'll pick up right here. All right, the billy goat kick. That's where we pick up. John, welcome to the show. As soon as we finish talking to John.
Hi there, how are you?
I'm good. Did you have a nice weekend?
Actually, it was a pretty incredible weekend from the sporting standpoint. A lot of dramatic and incredible things happened this last weekend. The first thing that happened on Saturday or Friday night, I guess, in Japan was the England beat New Zealand for the first time in 7 years. They're a pretty formidable team. The New Zealand All Blacks are kind of the legendary best rugby team of all time, and the Brits managed to pull it off. The English managed to pull it off, and so they're in the World Cup final against South Africa next Saturday or Sunday or Friday. I forget which day it is. Friday night, probably, I think. And I think the Brits have got a pretty good chance of pulling it off. And if they do, they're going to be the first country in the world, I believe. I kind of looked on the internet this morning. I couldn't really, it's probably a question that's never been asked by Google before, but has any country ever won 2 World Cups in the same year? And
in the same year?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Well, they won the Cricket World Cup earlier on this year.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
And now they're going to win the Rugby World Cup, and all they have to do is get the Soccer World Cup in 2022. And I think the Brits, like we say, when they Brexit, maybe they're going to start expanding their empire like they did a century ago. And frankly, the other thing is Lewis Hamilton didn't quite win his 6th World Championship. He missed it by a few points. But I think he drove the race of a lifetime yesterday in Mexico City. It was just an awesome race. You know, he was starting in 3rd, and it wasn't on the pole. Like, he's been on the pole more than almost 100 times, more than any other driver in history. He didn't make the pole, but he started 3rd, and he got knocked around a bit in the first lap or two, which could have put him out of the race. Kind of probably could have damaged his car. But he managed to outwit the other drivers and ended up winning just a sensational race. So, you know, he's closing in now on the all-time record winner. He's probably only about 7 to 10 races from pulling it off. So assuming he has a good, another year or two and doesn't, continues to perform as this is the best year ever. He's never had a year like it. I think he's won 8 races this year. So if the Queen doesn't knight this guy at the end of the year in her honors list, I think she's going to, I begin to think she's lost her marbles because Jackie Stewart only won 3 Grand Prix and they gave him a knighthood. And the other guy that I think she's overdue to give a knighthood, we already talked about, Mark Burnett. I mean, listen, if this guy hasn't earned a knighthood by now, you might as well give it all up. There's nobody who can touch this guy. In fact, you can pretty much thank him for putting Donald Trump in the White House, because if that hadn't happened,
really?
Yeah, because he was the apprentice. He went. I mean,
right.
This guy was totally unknown, and he, I think he saw Trump at that ice rink. When he ended up building that ice rink that nobody else could build, and he did it under budget and ahead of schedule. And Mark Burnett got a hold of him and said, how about I got this idea about, you know, a show called The Apprentice. And obviously that was a tremendous exposure for him, and ultimately, you know, for sure had a big influence on him winning the presidency. So then we had the Saturday night raid on al-Baghdadi, and that was awesome in of itself. Talk about a brilliantly executed, flawlessly executed operation. That's really, really remarkable. And kudos to Trump, because you remember I used to lament on this show how it was just so irresponsible by the prior administration. They just let this ISIS get out of control, going around killing people all over the world, and with it, you know, and never did anything about it. You know, and Trump came in and fixed that in 5 minutes. You know, thank God for that. And now they finally got this guy. And look, of course, Trump gets criticized in his speech for saying Baghdadi is bigger than Bin Laden. I mean, look, they're both bad. They're probably two, you know, unfortunately, they're two of a kind. Bin Laden, you know, dreamed up this dastardly plot to bring down the World Trade Center, and unfortunately pulled it off. Shouldn't have. Trump actually warned the world ahead of time, a year ahead of time. Did you know that? He actually wrote in his book, this guy should have been taken out. And if Clinton, I mean, it's sad. It's a sad, you know, sometimes in life, just a single thing can change the world. You know, back 20, probably 30 years ago now, maybe 40 years ago, the Israelis had the chance to take out Yasser Arafat, and they didn't do it, and he caused all this problems in Israel. You know, all these people got killed because of what he did, the PLA and all that sort of thing. And then they had the chance to take out Bin Laden in '98, and they didn't do it. And 3,000 people are dead because of it, and lots of people are injured, and just the whole thing. I mean, you can't even contemplate the way the world would be today if that hadn't happened. So
yeah, you know, that was a real smooth operation that they pulled off over the weekend.
It really was. And
I just wish Trump could control himself. Talking about the guy, how he was whimpering and crying. I mean, you know, that's maybe locker room talk between soldiers or something. But to parade that in front of the American people or in front of the world, I think he could. I'm real proud of him. I'm real proud of what he accomplished. Nobody saw it coming. I mean, what was the guy, Sun Tzu? What's that book by Sun Tzu? Something about war. I can't.
The Art of War?
Yeah. The Art of War. I mean, Trump, he's playing at that level.
He really is.
He puts up this thing about, oh, we're going to take all our troops out of Syria, so that this guy comes out of his cave and starts parading around, you know, the town square, you know, like he's a shot, and then bam, undercover darkness, in come the Delta forces, and I just don't think Trump had to say some of the things he said, but you know, good job, President.
Yeah, look, you know, what Trump unfortunately doesn't realize is if he was, look, so, you know, in some respects, like we said to our lady friends last week, a week ago today, Diamond and Silk, you know, you have to beat them over the head to tell them that the black unemployment rate is at record lows, otherwise they're not going to know about it. But other times, you know, Trump will get the appreciation from people because he earned it. You know, he's earned it in everything he's done, pretty much. Unfortunately, he overdoes it sometimes, and that's regrettable. But a lot of times, you know, he does get the message out, and he rams the point home. Maybe he overdoes it, ramming the point home, but it's you know, look, every single president has some kind of a quirk. You know, they all got problems. You know, every one of them has sort of got done something weird, or is just like a turn off, and you just have to live with it. You know, yeah. And Trump, you know, there's a few things you have to sort of get over with this guy. And but at the end of the day, the market's making an all-time record high today. What's not to like? It's.
He said this morning. He said, "I think it's going to be a good day in the markets."
Yeah. Well, obviously, there's a bit of euphoria today. There are some things starting to turn down. You know, I'm working on something pretty extraordinary right now.
What's that?
Well, I've been trying, you know, I have a lot of, as you know, I have a lot of data coming in, and a tremendous, I have an operation that there's no equal on the planet. I'm not boasting about that. I'm just saying it's a fact. I have 3 different inputs that I don't think anybody in the world has the same 3 inputs that I have coming in. And one is a number crunching type of thing. The other is a you know, a regular kind of a proprietary system, if you like. And I've been trying to get them to change the way the displays are, so I can make trades more easily and more dramatic, you know, more rapidly, if you like.
Okay.
Because I'm the first one on the train out of the station. That's my that's my mantra. You know, I know you do a different. You do things a different way, but
whatever gets the job done.
Yeah,
You know,
well, I mean, look, actually, the combination of what I do and what you do is about as good as it gets. Because if I get you on the train station and you load up more on, you know, at the next stop or as the train accelerates, that's a pretty clever idea. So the problem has been getting the right display, and I finally just came into a situation which it's funny because, you know, I told you I ordered this very powerful computer because right now the current computer just can't cope with it. But it's going to be interesting because I can take the computer that's currently a 12 screener, right, and then put that in a second position with another 12 screens, and the combination of the two, along with the number crunches, which is potentially another at least 12 displays, put it that way, the combination of this will be formidable. And I just sort of put it through its paces here in the last few days, and it's just been incredible. Like, remember we talked about Roku? Sorry, Tesla. Talked about Tesla when it gapped up, right? And it spent a day, you know, kind of made a doji, and then I just noticed this on Friday, but it gave me a very strong buy. And Tesla, if you just bought in, you could have bought in around, you know, maybe 280, somewhere like that. And I just got a sell signal a minute ago at about 327. Okay, and it got to 340, and it's right now 324. So that is just awesome. And
it is.
Thanks. So Roku, you know, which I talked about, we talked about it. Remember, we talked about it. Looks like it's going to break out to the upside. Boy, did it put on the afterburners today. It's
take a look at it. That's Tesla right there on a 30-minute.
Just a sec.
We'll go to Roku.
Yeah. See, so look, it's pretty powerful. So I don't think this is just a little short-term kind of a trade sell, if you like. But I mean, look at the gap, and look at the way it sort of couldn't make up its mind which way it was going to go, and then bang! And look at Roku today. What an awesome move that is! Jesus Christ. So you know, $10 move from buying on the open. So,
did Roku have earnings today?
No. I don't know what happened. There's something came out that pushed them higher.
This is the biggest week for earnings season we're in right now. Google reports after the bell. Alphabet.
Right, and it could be, you know, look, what's remarkable about the markets is that Amazon, you know, got beaten down, and the market kind of ignored it. And the other thing is, you know, I think Trump, you know, it may not be Trump, but Amazon didn't get that 10 billion CIA deal or military deal, 10 billion. They gave it to Microsoft.
Right.
And I think that's a good thing because, Bezos, the Washington Post has been just relentless against Trump. And he didn't, I think basically he could have easily asked him to tone it down a bit or whatever, but it cost him $10 billion, frankly, and maybe a lot more because it's going to be a repetitive order. And you know what? I kind of think that Microsoft deserves it because they got beaten up pretty badly. I told you before, there's only, as far as, Bill Gates probably made 3 mistakes in his life. I used to talk about the 2, but 3 of them were the ones that stand out that I think he'd rather not have done was when he took on Netscape and basically put Netscape out of business. He had to pay a penalty for that from thanks to the government, and it probably wasn't a very pleasant time. And a much smarter idea would have been to, like a lot of these things. I mean, if you want Adobe, you can use Adobe without paying for it, right? Just like using a browser without paying for it. But if you want a better browser, if he had made a nominal fee for the top of the line browser back in the early days, think of, they might have had $1 billion or $2 billion extra in revenues that they could have used to research and develop a better browser, right?
Right.
And as a result, Google came in and basically took the browser business away from everybody else. So, there was a lot of logic in what I said back then about, not just having I think the internet could have probably accelerated at a faster pace if they had better browsers, 20 years ago.
John, you really need to watch that mini-series, Valley of the Boom.
Yeah.
It's on the National Geographic channel. And it's the whole story of Silicon Valley in the 90s, and the main actor in it is Netscape Navigator. It's a documentary, but it's done it has a storyline, and there's acting, and it's really good. I think there's 5 or 6 parts. You can watch it for free. It's really good.
So the second mistake he made was it was about 2005 or 6, sometime around then. Look, you never know what's around the corner. It's just like Amazon. They probably thought they had this $10 billion deal in the bag. There was a write-up recently about they were sweet-talking Mathis and buying him dinner in London, all kinds of things, to try and get the deal. And who knows what they did. But anyway, they didn't get the deal. But the Gates, what I'm getting at is, in 2005 or 6, everything looked rosy, and Microsoft decided to give a huge dividend, a one-time dividend. What's the point of doing that? You're giving away, like $40 billion or something, just like an enormous amount of money.
That money should have gone to research and development.
Absolutely, absolutely. And more importantly, it should have been saved for a rainy day, because, when the rainy day came, like 3 or 4 years later, 2009. Right. So, Microsoft, remember, was trying to bid for Yahoo, and then the deal didn't go down. Remember that?
I do remember that.
And Yahoo rejected it. It wasn't, so guess what? 2009, they could have bought Yahoo for $4 billion, when it was down at $4 after being at $135. So, and think of all the other, what they could have done with an extra $40 billion back in 2009, right?
It still goes a long way today.
Right, and the third regret that Bill Gates has was that he didn't either buy or invent Android. He said that recently. So those are his 3 mortal, big sins, not mortal sins, but 3 big sins. But still, now he is, it's interesting because the press, of course, in their ignorance, came out and said, that Gates overtook Jeff Bezos as the richest guy in the world again. But they don't, remember, if Jeff Bezos hadn't gotten divorced, nobody could catch him because he'd be $30 billion richer, or 25
Right.
or something like that. So that's the first thing. However, when you factor in how much money Bill Gates has given away, they're probably neck and neck in terms of the actual number. So it is a formidable accomplishment by both of them. The other good news that happened on the weekend was Tiger Woods won another PGA, a kind of a new PGA thing called a Zozo or something, and he's tied the all-time great now, 82. So that came out of nowhere, and the fact that he was able to have another win, he's had 3 PGAs in the last year or so. 3 PGA wins. I'd say the odds are reasonable that he might be able to get another few before he can't do it anymore. Remember how long these guys like Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus have been playing. If he keeps going at that rate, he'll be playing for another 20 years.
Right.
So
How old is he? How old is he?
I think he's about 36, something like that.
Oh, he's younger than I thought.
Yeah. So
he could be well playing up into his 60s. I mean, he's got another 30 years.
Yeah. Anyway, it was kind of a neat thing because he's been through a lot, and like injury wise, you know what I mean. Never at one point he thought he could never play again. So this actually why we're looking at the Dow. I mean, this is the weirdness of this market right now. That Dow gave was screaming higher and gave a sell signal this morning, a pretty big one actually. And so the big question is, are we going to go down and take out that weekly support zone, or are we going to hold here going into Tuesday?
I think we're going to rally up off of here, and we'll go back to at least challenge the swing high.
Yeah, as long as the Nasdaq keeps gaining, and it's up big today, 78 points right now. The rest of the market's pretty in good shape. By the way, the semiconductors are totally on fire. Intel is breaking out. The transports are breaking out. Everything we said we thought would happen. I mean, I think the semis are. I think they're an all-time high. SOXL.
SOXL.
Yeah.
Okay.
If the semis are an all-time high, it's just it just doesn't get any more bullish. Remember I said about that island bottom, Dorian? Very, very big deal. That was a very, very big deal, that island bottom.
This is on 30-minute, John. You want to see daily?
Yeah. Even 3 hours would be interesting. See. Yeah, it's pretty close. I think that's about it. Can you go to the daily?
Oh yeah. Oh, this is daily.
Oh, it is. Okay, sorry. Yeah, remember that doji? What a giveaway that was, jeepers.
Oh, this guy right here.
If you go to the weekly.
Weekly. There we go.
Yeah, how about that? I think that is it. I think that's an all-time high. Gap to an all-time high. That's incredible. So look, you know what this is like, Dwayne? Remember 2017 in the summer when we had 3 or 4 Dow theory buy signals?
Right.
And what happened the next 4 months? We had a 5,000 point move in the Dow from the summer of 17 into the high January 2018. It kind of feels the same way right now. If you can check out the transports.
Absolutely. What time frame you want to look at them?
I mean, listen, if the semis are leading, I mean, it just, you can't put a high on the market with the semis making new highs.
Okay.
So
here's weekly. Do you want that on a daily or what?
Well, I think, no, it's good enough. The transports, are, you know, if they get to 11,200, you potentially got
Now,
about.
I just have end of day data on this one, so keep that in mind.
Okay, we're probably already there. 11,200. We're probably already there. Try the Dow itself. See what that looks like. Yeah.
You want the index? Or you want the futures?
Oh, either one doesn't really matter. Just the Dow.
Gamma?
Yeah, sure.
No, stop talking the chart.
Yeah.
All right, that's weekly. Let's get it on. Let's get it on a daily. There we go. There's daily on the Dow.
It's a little hard to define whether, you know, we're actually about to make a Dow theory buy signal, but technically we probably are, because we're taking out, you know, on the transports, we're going to a new high, and the Dow hasn't gone to a new high yet, and that's pretty big. But then, you know, we're fairly close to going to an all-time record on the Dow itself. So it's important for the transports to actually kind of go to an all-time record as well, ahead of the Dow, or with it at least. The other thing is the advanced decline line is just crazy bullish. It's going through the roof like you can't even imagine. And you know, it just took off from this. We were looking at it, remember, on the consolidation a few weeks ago. And ever since then, it's just been, you know, straight up. So we're living in an incredible time, and the markets. I mean, you know, Apple. Look at it. Check out Apple. Let's have a look at Apple. I mean, this is a complete departure from previous Apple behavior. Since that iPhone was
come out this week too.
Since that iPhone was released.
That was, what was that, 2006?
Well, no, I mean, but almost every product they've introduced, the market has kind of rallied into the release, and then almost always sold off. This has never happened before, as far as I remember. This is an acceleration to the upside. So this, I mean, look, there isn't anybody in the world who doesn't think that the iPhone 11 series is super cool, and everybody wants one, and it's really an incredible, you know, accomplishment, considering how many of these things I have to make every day. So 50, or they're probably making 50,000 phones a day or something like that. It's just mind-boggling. So the you know, Apple looks really good. It looks really strong.
At what point does everybody on planet Earth have, maybe not the latest model, but, you know, maybe
well, you know,
models behind? I mean, there's some. There has to be some saturation point somewhere, I would think.
Well,
but
you know, but
they've been saying that for a long time, and it hasn't happened.
They keep on bringing out new models. You know, it's very compelling, and it's a brilliant. It's just, you know, it's this financing thing with the phone companies and all that. It's just brilliant. I mean, everybody can have what they want if they're willing to pay, you know, a reasonable monthly fee. Remember, listen, how long ago did you have to pay $100, $200 a month for, you know, just for the service and for a pretty lousy phone? Now you're getting, you know, state of the art for half the price, or sometimes even less. Think about that. It's pretty incredible. Right. So you know, this thing is barreling higher, and if it has a good earnings number, it's probably going to go parabolic here. So we, you know, given where we are going, I mean, obviously the risk in the market is whatever happens to Trump. It hasn't, you know, right now the market is obviously ignoring it. They're probably saying that they don't have the goods. But unfortunately, you know, he may succumb to a lot of problems in the months ahead. So, you know, it's just but the economy, at the end of the day, you know, we've been saying the economy is getting stronger, and you know, you don't have to hear it from me. You can just look at the bond market. The bond market is telling you the economy is getting stronger. if you want to take a look at the bond market.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And the possibility of the economy getting even stronger is very real, especially if the dollar goes down. So look at that. Now this is starting to look like we're going to have a downward acceleration.
If this support doesn't hold right here,
yeah,
then there's the next stop down here.
Yeah. So this is a pretty big deal, and ultimately it's probably bullish for gold because the dollar. We might as well take a look at the dollar too.
There's the dollar on a daily. We broke that trend line. We were talking about that last week.
Hasn't tanked yet, but you know the Brexit got an extension to January 31st.
Trend line break, and you know what? And the dollar, John, we're getting ready to run into resistance on the dollar, and so I would look for another leg to the downside, at least.
Probably,
possibly
a pretty big leg.
Yeah, we could see 96.
Yeah, this could really be a big collapse here. So. Look, the way to look at the gold pullback is manna from heaven. You know, the market's giving you another chance to buy gold on the cheap. And because I think the next up move will be the real deal. You know, it doesn't look too bad on the chart there. There's a little, I did say, you know, remember we got the Fed this week, and you know, it looks like the gold could come down and test that 1450, 1460, 70, maybe there, possibly make a double against that double bottom, and then we could really go.
I'd see a potential for 1440, John, right across these tops. Yeah, 1440 perhaps.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't need to go any lower than that.
Yeah. So.
Tim wanted to know, John, do you use an iPhone or an Android?
I just got an iPhone. I haven't actually a new one. It's not the Pro, but it's. They say the 11 is the best one, or easy to use or something. I haven't actually got it going yet, but I will. I'll try and get it done the next day or two. It's pretty complicated. There's a lot of stuff to get it operating. So they tell me. So I'm not really a mobile kind of guy, but anyway, I guess I'm gonna be from now on. So
you're getting forced into it.
Yeah. You know, really, it was kind of a remarkable weekend. It was just like huge for the country, huge for the world, and the sporting events this weekend were just epic. No other word for it. So.
Yeah, it was a good weekend here. The weather's just beautiful in Phoenix.
Oh, the weather was awesome the whole weekend. It was just fantastic. So
I took my kids to this place Saturday. My wife was out of town. It's called the Main Event. They have laser tag and they have bowling, and they have all these incredible video games. You know, it's an arcade type thing. And for $20, you get unlimited play. I just walked around and looked at some of the. I mean, these are games, but one theme I noticed: a lot of these video games, the ones that aren't the shoot 'em ups, the first person shooter games, they really resemble some of the stuff in Vegas, slot machines, and and I just see kids being groomed, for this gambling lifestyle, and I don't think it's good. I mean, stick in the mud, but yeah. My kids had a great time. They'll play in the laser tag, and when you and I were kids, we had little cap guns, bang bang. But the stuff today is just fascinating. It really is. Anything else you want to cover?
The financials are doing pretty well. I guess J.P. Morgan's probably hitting all-time highs again. Goldman Sachs is doing very well. The airlines are doing great.
Here's JPM on a daily.
Yep, all-time record there. Check out Delta, DAL. See what that looks like. It's got a way. So the transport's got plenty of room on the upside. What about United, UAL? Yeah, it's a better. About LUV. Yeah, look at that. I think that's an all-time. Oh, it's certainly probably a new yearly high. I don't know if it's an all-time record or not. It's probably.
No.
Yeah, but you can see how all these airlines can take the transports up a good bit. Let's have a look at JB Hunt.
Well, my dad had his midlife crisis and bought a semi, so him and my stepmother could become long-haul truckers. They did that for, I think, a couple of years. He drove for JB Hunt for a while. Did you say JBHT? Oh, there it is. Right. Okay. All right, that's a daily.
Looks just like the previous chart.
A little double top going on right here. So if we can overcome that, and here.
What about UPS and FedEx?
Here's UPS.
Yeah, they could, and FedEx, FTX. I think FedEx is doing better today.
Here we go.
Yeah, there's plenty of upside for these stocks still, if they had with the Christmas coming and everything.
Oh, it just went across my screen. Alphabet has made an offer to acquire Fitbit.
Wow.
You familiar with Fitbit technology?
Put up FIT, see what it looks like.
FIT. Oh, yeah. That's what it looks like when Apple offers to buy you out.
Yeah.
Wow. There's some happy shareholders over there.
That's interesting. Let's take a look at Maxim, MXIM.
And what's really cool is that we've got our buy signal on Fitbit back last Tuesday. I'm sorry, which one, John?
Sorry, MXIM.
There you go.
Yeah, look, it's probably worth being in this stock in case there's a takeover. If you certainly if it starts moving up towards 60, it's got its earnings coming out very soon. So I would wait for the earnings. If the earnings are an upside surprise, I think it's a go.
Mm-hmm.
The keys, KEYS.
Hey, you know what, John? If you'll make me a list of these different ones that you like, shoot them to me.
No, I will for sure.
I'll create a watch list. We can just
okay. That's easier. Yeah, keys really looks very bullish here. If it gets back to the highs. Xylem, XLNX. And nothing going on there yet. AMD, AMD. Yeah, this is very bullish, this stock. I mean, look, we just looked at Xilinx, and you could have said, 28, nothing doing, right? Nothing happening, bang. This is why these. So I mean, Xilinx is it's both a 5G contender and it's a chip stock. So we want to keep a real good eye on XLNX because it may do something similar to advanced micro devices.
So has Moore's law has that been eclipsed now? Does it still apply?
I think it does.
We exceeded.
The thing about Moore's law in the last 10 years, it's kind of, instead of technically doubling every 18 months, it's kind of had big jumps in performance and velocity, etc. And then it's sort of gone sideways. It's not a straight line upwards. And the thing is right now, I mean, that the big, this the Intel 9980, that's a 18 core 36 thread chip. And so in a way, that's pushing the envelope of Moore's law. In other words, we've gone from one chip to this multi-processing thing, and there's a lot more in it because AMD's got one that's about 30. I think it's 30. It may be. We looked at it. The Ryzen, the top of the line Ryzen. Yeah, I think it's 30. It might be 36 core, 72 thread. It might be.
You want me to look that up?
Yeah.
Ryzen. Okay. RYZEN. And then now what? Which one of these do you think?
Probably the 39. Yeah, that's probably the one.
That's 12 core.
12 core. No, it's a bit better than that.
So did you say 32 core?
I think so, yeah.
Let's see if anything pops up. 32 cores, okay. 12 core. Maybe you mean 32
Thread
threads.
Ripper, that's the one, the Thread Ripper, Dwayne, that's the one.
Chip gets delayed to November. World's first 16-core gaming CPU.
No, they've got more than that. There's a higher than that.
What's the date of this article? This was September 20th of this year. PC gamers waiting for AMD 16 core. We'll need to hold on.
Maybe it's 24
longer.
cores. I saw 24 cores there.
Yeah, let's try that. There's a 24 thread, 12 core, Game Master.
It just puts maybe fastest Ryzen chip, maybe, and put Threadripper in as well. Maybe that'll come up with it.
Ryzen fastest chip. Let's see. If you're looking for something to take on Intel's i9 9900, its current fastest consumer PC chip, there's the $399 Ryzen 7 3808 core 16 thread chip. That's not what you're looking for, huh?
No, it's way more than that.
These are the best processors for 2019. Best CPUs for your PC. So let's see, we got a chart or something here. Okay, best processors at a glance. There's the Ryzen 9. That's the best one there is, I guess. And then here's the high-end Intel, the mid-range Ryzen, entry-level Ryzen. So looks like that AMD Ryzen 9 is the tops. What's the date on this article? 6 days ago. So I guess that's the deal. And how much do they want for that one?
They're pretty reasonable compared to
$500.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's $500. Sure, there's some workloads where the Intel.
Some people say they run a bit hot. That's the only thing. But
really.
So, by the way, remember what we were saying a week ago when we talked to Diamond and Silk about the setting an audacious goal to for.
You know, they have a show on Fox Nation. Do you have Fox Nation?
No, I don't. But
you should take the trial. You can get a 30-day free trial.
Yeah.
You can go in there and watch their show.
They actually came out with a, there's actually, if you go to their website, or even on Twitter, I think they've got just a few tweets ago, and maybe on the website they've got a chat they just did, and it was kind of a repeat of what they did right after Trump said, Obama was spying on him. And you remember all this stuff with the Russian and setting up Flynn and all this stuff. What they didn't tell you, right? So just because Trump talked to the Russians, it was like, this is it, conspiracy theory, Russian asset, and all this. right?
Right. So
You
ridiculous.
know that Obama had this guy in the White House 22 times?
I'm sorry,
Same
say
guy.
that again now?
The same ambassador that everybody was freaking out about
Mhm.
was like old pals with Obama, you know, over they did a pretty good. Just go down a bit. I think the link is there, Dwayne, on that.
What, tell me again what link I'm looking for.
Or maybe you should go to the Twitter. I think it's on the Twitter.
Okay. You might have a Twitter link here.
Just Diamond and Silk. Just at Diamond and Silk. Anyway, what we were saying about boosting the following of African American, apparently the poll just came out last week, 42% among males, African American males for Trump. And poll just came out this morning, 17% of Democrats are kind of, you know, aligning.
I forgot to send them a copy of the interview. I got to do that. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
17% of Democrats look like they could vote for Trump.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here they are. Here's the latest. Would you want to look at?
Just go down a bit. Bit more.
There's Baghdadi. That's the guy.
Yeah.
They really found their calling in life.
Sure did.
They were created for such a time as this.
Okay, hold on. I think just very close here.
Okay.
A bit right before this. I think it's just coming up now.
Kamala Harris must be devastated by her poll numbers, especially since she's being beaten by a fake minority. See anything?
This is no wait. No, keep going. Obviously, there's been a lot of news in the last couple of. That's I think from I think this is the one. This is the one. Yeah, straight from the gate. March.
From the gate, so
Back they tell what they said back in March 2017. It's pretty. They were right on the money, and they had it figured out. And it's it's about 30 minutes. But a lot of interesting
which
content.
Which one are you talking about, John?
That particular video, the one with them right there.
This one here?
This one, yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll take a look at that after the show.
Yeah. Also, Trump, if you probably worth playing this tomorrow or maybe on the show. ABC News did a very good clip on Baghdadi. And Trump even thanked them for it. So it was very well done. But go to Trump's Twitter at Real. Real Donald Trump at Real Donald Trump.
There we go. Okay. What we're looking for?
Down a bit. I think it's from yesterday. I think this is the one here. That one with Martha Raddatz. No, with the lady talking. That one. Oh, that's the one. That's the one. Go back. I think this is the one here.
Okay.
No. A little bit. It's a bit after that. It's after. It's up a bit.
Oh, up a bit. Okay.
No, you're too fast. Just a sec. This one right here. That's a very good clip. It's excellent.
Raid in Idlib, Syria. Baghdadi is believed to have detonated a suicide vest he was wearing when the U.S. Special Mission Unit carried out a ground raid targeting the ISIS leader in a compound. Al-Baghdadi transformed an insurgency in Iraq into a global terror network that drew tens of thousands of recruits from around the world. At its peak, ISIS controlled vast swaths of territory in Iraq and Syria, ruling over 5 million people. He has been the target of an international manhunt for years. Let's bring in ABC News senior national correspondent Terry Moran, who is standing by at the White House. And what do we know, Terry, at this point about what the president will say?
Well, what we know is that the pool has gathered. The president running a couple of minutes late. This is a big moment for him. As you say, Baghdadi governed a huge swath of territory in Syria and Iraq, and ISIS grew to become a major strategic threat in that region. And one of President Trump's major foreign policy initiatives was to double down on the efforts to crush ISIS. It succeeded first territorially, and now with the death of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, it looks like it is the capstone to President Trump's effort. That's what we expect him to say.
And of course, Terry, this comes as the president is pulling out most of the U.S. forces in Syria. Do you think that will have any effect on the president? Now that Baghdadi's dead, will he continue to do that? Will this be over in his mind?
Well, there's no question that this bolsters the president's argument that he's been making, that the job is done, mission accomplished, you might say. That the rollback of ISIS territory, they were at the gates of Baghdad, basically, all the way through northern Syria. They now don't control a square inch of territory, and their inspirational leader, a revolutionary figure, Baghdadi, is now dead. The president will use that to argue that he is making the right decision to bring the troops home. He has come under fierce fire for how he's done that, very abruptly, even impulsively, after a conversation with the Turkish president. But there's no question that destroying the territorial control of ISIS over parts of Iraq and Syria, and now getting their leader, there's no question he's going to use that as an argument for justifying his policy to withdraw troops, U.S. troops from Syria.
And Terry, President Trump had really focused on ISIS in ways that hadn't been done before. Baghdadi clearly a top priority for him.
That's right. And Martha, this is one of the things President Trump believes he has not been given sufficient credit for. He came in and ISIS was still controlling a great deal of territory, tyrannizing the people who lived there and using that as a base to launch attack after attack, primarily in Europe. I covered more than a dozen terror attacks inspired, directed, organized by ISIS in Paris, in Brussels, in London, in Berlin, and elsewhere in Europe. It was a strategic threat in the region and beyond, and it was President Trump's initiative from the beginning to double down on the efforts already underway to take territory and to crush ISIS. That job is done. They remain a threat because of its ideology, not just of territory and control of it, and that needs to be watched. But credit where credit is due. This was a goal of President Trump from when he entered office, and today you can expect him to take a victory lap.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't kill an ideology with military might. Yep. But you can throw a kink in the works.
Yeah. So, well, listen, thanks very much for the invite.
Hey, thank you, John. Enjoyed it as always.
Thank you. Likewise.
Talk to you.
All the best. Okay.
Okay. All right, guys, we're going to pick up right here on the Dow. Give me 30 seconds. Okay, that might have been slightly longer than 30 seconds, but all right, let's do this thing. We already did the S&P. The S&P, we had a Concierge Trade Alert and a Logic 247 alert. Both said to consider being long, 30.28. The market made 14 points available. Price began to walk sideways. The chart printed an exit signal at 30.36. 14. So 14 was a swing high, but getting out of the swing high is difficult because you don't know it's going to be a swing high or swing low until after the fact. Okay? The exit signal that I teach you will never get you out at the swing high or swing low, but it does a pretty fair job of getting you out in the neighborhood. Okay. All right, now the Dow. Okay. Consider being long. Concierge Trade Alert, consider being long 26,985. 135 points available. $5 a point. Alexa, 135 times 5, please.
135 times 5 is 675.
Okay, so $675 per contract traded. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. So price gets back below the trigger and off it goes again. Okay, like clockwork. Now, while we are here, let's just glance over at logic for the same market. 26980. Okay. Remember what I said about when Concierge and Logic, either one of them stand alone, but when they both point at the same price, same area, second look. Okay. So CTA was at 985, Logic was at 980. Okay. So I'll just make a little note here. $26,980. Put that right there. And then on this pullback, the swing low was 26,976. So the 80 would have triggered a second time as well as the 985. Okay, that takes care of that one. Okay, go to the Russell. Okay, all right. The Logic Russell was 1563. 1563. And let's see what the Concierge was. Where did they go? Okay, I just had, here we go. Here we go. All right, on the Russell, well, I guess I'll just show you again. So we've got Logic and the Concierge pointing at the exact same number. Okay. So Logic and CTA. Okay. And let's see, the swing high, 79.50. So Alexa, 16 times 50. Alexa, 16. Alexa, stop. Alexa, 16 times 50.
Did that answer your question?
No. Alexa, 16 times 50.
Thanks for the feedback.
Alexa, pay attention. 16 times 50.
This might answer your question.
Alexa, stop.
Times...
Okay. Yes, that did answer my question. Thank you very much. Okay, we're chasing each other around the desk here. $800. $800 per contract traded. Okie doke. Again, both of them pointing at the exact same number. $800. $800 per contract available. The trade to target is overhead at 1590. So we may not be done. All right. All right, in queue. Okie doke. In queue. Concierge 8066. Consider being long 8066. So that's about up there. Okay. $80.66. And I'll go ahead and look at logic. Into 8068. Put an L, logic buy, 8068. Okay. And put in a swing high at 8121. Alexa, 8121 minus 8068.
8,121 minus 8,068 is 53.
Alexa, 53 times 20.
53 times 20 is 1,060.
Okay, this is a $1,000 per contract move. $1,000. Is that a comma? Now it is. All right, $1,000 per contract move. If you've earned the right to trade 10 contracts, $10,000 move. That's a nice way to start a week. I'm gonna put a little pep in your step on a Monday. Now, what will take pep out of your step is if you go trading 10 contracts before you earn the right. Don't even try trading live until you become consistently profitable in sim. Now, there's people out there that are going to argue with you, oh, well, you know, sim, it's not the real deal, and you blah, blah. You know, don't listen to that noise, please. Are sim and live different? Well, yeah, one's real money, the other isn't. So, but the only difference is the emotions that come into play when you switch from sim to live. In sim, you build up your confidence, but building your confidence, it's different psychologically, because ultimately at the end of the day, there is no real risk, maybe other than your pride. But when you go to live, you have to watch yourself, because whatever you were doing in sim that allowed you to put together your 10 consecutive days in a row so that the blueprint would give you the green light to go live, the first thing you're going to do when you go live is you're going to change something. And then when you and I have a mentoring session to figure out what happened, I'm going to ask you, well, what did you do different? And you're going to say nothing. And I'm going to go, yes, you did. And you're going to go, no, I didn't. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. And I'll badger you until I get it out of you. It's something. You either you waited for another candle to confirm it, or you got in early, or you left. Something. You did something. It's human nature. Doesn't mean you're bad or wrong. It just means you're human. And once we get it down in sim, okay, we already know how to do it because we just did it, 10 days in a row consecutively. So really your focus when you go live, the focus is to emulate exactly what you did in sim. Change nothing. If you always wore that pair of red stinky tennis shoes in sim, you must wear them when you go live. Don't go buy new shoes. No. That dog won't hunt. All right. In queue, we're done. Crude. Okay. Crude, logic on crude said, consider being short, 55.90 to 55.80. I think we had one before that. Okay, so this is a logic. 55.90. Okay. Now let me scoot up. I think we had another short on crude before that. Oh, that's a long. Okay, no. All right, so now we'll look at the concierge. Concierge for crude. Consider being short. 56.10. 56.10. Okay. Same price? No. Same area? Yeah, pretty much. Now, where this can help you, so if you take this one at 56.10, right? It plays right into the hand of this one here. Important prices, important areas, almost always tested. Look what happens. We go from the 56.10 entry, which is the concierge. It takes us right down to the logic alert, but we're not done. Important prices, important areas, almost always tested. So we get back above the trigger. Now we're ready to rip through the logic, but we're not done yet. Get back above the trigger, and here we go again. Okay, so from 56.10 to 56.60, so it's a $500 per contract move from here. 56.10, yeah, right. $500 per contract traded. Now this first little move from 56.10, so that's $200 per contract traded, back above the trigger, another 200, and then we trigger this one and back. Got it? Okay. Awesome. What's left? Gold. Here comes gold. Oh, we already did gold. Huh, we did that one first, right? Yes, we did. At the very beginning of the show. We talked about the measured move. Now you see what's happening here? This kind of rolling over. Now, see how the red and falling, it's starting to curl up a little bit. See that? As this comes down, that, especially if it turns blue, like this, it may act as good support. Okay. Now let's look at gold over here for just a moment. Gold futures. Gold futures, December gold. Okay. 30-minute. There we go. All right. Without the alerts, without the concierge and without logic. Now again, on gold, on gold we had a 1504 entry and a 1502 entry. Those are alert based. Okay. Now indicator based, we had an entry at 1505. So three things. Remember I said if concierge and logic point at the same price, same area, it deserves a second look. I'm going to start showing you this every day. I'm going to bring the indicators into play. All right. So you got three things. Three things putting you short, same price, same area. Okay. So from 1505 to 1495, it's $1,000 per contract traded. Okay. Beautiful day to be a trader. So many happy faces this morning. The Logic 247 discussion channel. Always good to see you on a Monday. I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, now, how come you're not part of that? If you're not part of that, what's holding you up? Can't be the money because we're not that expensive. If you don't think you can do it, what we do is very simple. It's not complicated. It's not convoluted. I know you've already spent money on other indicators and other strategies and it didn't work out and you're bummed. Okay. I resemble that remark. Been there, done that over and over. Okay. So I realize I'm just some other joker on the internet. But we do give you the week's free trial. We do put the indicators into your hands. We put the alerts into your hands. We put the weekly trading zones into your hands. We give you everything that we give one of our family members, one of the CFRN traders, as a trial, just passing through, no credit card required. We give you everything for a week. At the end of the week, you got to make a well-informed, intelligent decision whether or not you want to do this, what you've seen here on this radio show today, or do you want to go back to doing what you've been doing? Life always leads to a choice. You got to make a choice. Okay. Trading is not easy, but it can be simple. It really can. Our minds don't want to let it be because it's just part of the whole complex human thing. Okay. When price is above the BBC, right? It's right there. Be long. And because we're above the BBC, I'm going to ignore my short signal. I'm only interested in being long when I'm above the BBC. And I'm only interested in being short when I'm below. I'm going to ignore that. Okay? All right. Time now. Good word for the day. If you have any questions, put them in the chat box. David, you still having a sound problem?
Not on my end.
Okay. All right, good. Thanks, Yvonne. Thank you. Okay. We talked the other day about prosperity. You're listening to Prosperity for God's People, the Emini Daily Futures Cast. Ephesians 4:28 says this: "Let the thief no longer steal, but rather let him labor, doing honest work with his own hands, so that he may have something to share with anyone in need." We've talked about prosperity many times. We'll continue to talk about it. Prosperity, the biblical definition of prosperity, is much more than having some money in the bank. It's not just a financial thing. It's a spiritual thing. So what is the purpose God says he wants us to prosper even as our soul prospers. He wants us to be in good health and prosper even as our soul prospers. There are 3 levels of how to live with material things. 3 levels. Number 1, you can steal to get them. Number 2, you can work to get them. Number 3, you can work to get in order to give. Really what this takes us to is the motivation. Too many professing Christians live on level 2. Again, level 2 was you work to get material things. End of story. We glorify work against stealing and mooching and feel we have acted virtuously if we have spurned stealing and mooching and given ourselves to an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. That's not a bad thing. Work is better than stealing and mooching, but that's not what God is calling us to. Almost all the forces of our culture urge us to live on level 2, work to get. But the Bible pushes us relentlessly to level 3, work to get to give. 2 Corinthians 9:8. God is able to make all grace abound to you, so that having all sufficiency in all things at all times, you may abound in every good work. So again, why does God bless us with abundance? So we can have enough to live on and then use the rest for all manner of good works that alleviate spiritual and physical misery, temporal and eternal suffering. Enough for us, abundance for others. The issue is not how much a person makes. Big industry and big salaries are a fact of our times, and they're not necessarily evil. The evil is in being deceived into thinking that a large salary must be accompanied by a lavish lifestyle. God has made us to be conduits of his grace. The danger is in thinking the conduit should be lined with gold. It shouldn't. Copper will do. Copper can carry unbelievable riches to others. And in the very process of that giving, we enjoy the greatest blessing of all. Acts 20:35. In all things I have shown you that by working hard in this way, we must help the weak and remember the words of the Lord Jesus, how he himself said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. That's our good word for the day. God blesses us not just so we can be blessed, but so that we can be a blessing to others. You see, you and I, every CFRN trader and every person listening to this radio program, you and I have access to something that most of the world does not. We have an opportunity in front of us that most of the world will never know. To whom much is given, much is required. If you're here, right now, there's a call on your life. How are you going to answer? How are you going to respond? What are you going to do with the opportunity God has put in front of you? I can't answer that for you. Only you can. If you'd like to talk about it, if you'd like to discuss it, book a mentoring session. CFRN partners and passport holders have unlimited access to myself and Michael. All they have to do is go to our website, book a mentoring session. If you'd like to spend some time with me in a private, one-on-one go-to meeting where we can look at charts and have a conversation. I can answer your questions. Speak with Valerie. You can email her support@cfrn.net. You can call her at 949-42-EMINI. And let's do it. You know, think about where you are now, where you want to be. Write it down. Book that mentoring session. And I will help you devise a plan to get you from where you are to where you want to be, so that you too can be a blessing to others. To whatever degree God has called you, whatever call He has put on your life, whatever divine destiny He created you for, let's find it and let's go there. All right? All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
The bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.